The Grand Theft Auto series is filled with funny moments, amazing glitches, amazing storylines, cool Easter eggs, but also betrayals. Betrayals play a major role in most Grand Theft Auto games, and today we're going to be covering that. We're going to be talking about some of the best, worst, saddest, and most shocking betrayals to ever happen in the Grand Theft Auto series. Some of these we might have had our suspicions on and seen them coming. Others, like I said a moment ago, are pretty shocking. You didn't see them coming at all. Some of them are pretty sad, and others are just like, holy crap, why did that have to happen? So, if you guys enjoy the retro GTA coverage on my channel, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. If we could break 2,000 likes, that would be awesome. I don't think we can do it, but it just gives me a lot of motivation to keep on posting this retro GTA stuff, because really there's not too many other places on YouTube you're going to find this kind of content. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and with that said, here we are with the top GTA betrayals of all time. Number 8, we have Michelle, Nico Bellic's girlfriend for a portion of Grand Theft Auto 4. And she was first introduced to us by Mallory, Roman's fiance, in the mission Three's a Crowd towards the beginning of the game, where basically I think we have to go to the bus station to pick up Mallory, and she has her friend Michelle with her. And Mallory mentions that we should talk to Michelle and take her on a date. So what do? We end up taking Michelle on a date. After this encounter in this mission, we are able to take her on a number of other dates to restaurants, clubs, comedy clubs, whatever it is. We can go drinking with her, play darts, do tons of things with Michelle in GTA 4. I thought she was a super cool girlfriend. I thought it was cool that we kind of had an official girlfriend in the game. But unfortunately, things go sour. We can do this and take her on dates up until the mission, the snowstorm, where we steal some cocaine from the abandoned hospital. I believe it's that mission at least. But nonetheless, after this mission, we meet Michelle in an alleyway of all places. We've got this bag of cocaine, and well, Michelle confesses to us that she's been watching us for a long time, that she's actually a government agent, and she takes this cocaine. She confiscates this cocaine that we literally just almost died trying to get, and naturally, Nico and Michelle break up on somewhat good terms, I guess, other than the fact that she was lying and she was a government agent, and she pretty much betrayed us. This is one of the more sad betrayals in the GTA series, but fun fact, she goes on to appear in Grand Theft Auto 5 under her real name, which is Karen Daniels, and she is now an IAA agent, and we see her doing some pretty crazy things.
Lube. Actually, fuck the lube. Let's dry dock him.
You got
The world thinks you're dead, genius.
Number 7, Big Smoke from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So, Big Smoke, this is one of those betrayals that I was super sad to see, and also it was super shocking. I did not expect to see this one. So, Big Smoke's, of course, a longtime friend of CJ and his brother Sweet. They grew up together in the Grove, and Big Smoke ended up becoming a high-ranking official for the Grove Street families. But in the mission, the Green Saber, it's actually a turning point for Big Smoke, CJ, Sweet, and their friendship in the game. So, in the mission, the Green Saber, Carl and Sweet are on their way to take down some ballas. But while doing so, they actually receive a call from Caesar, this really cool character who's dating their sister, and he wants them to meet them in an alleyway. And they end up meeting up with Caesar, and they are shocked to see that Big Smoke and Ryder are working with Officer Frank Tenpenny and Eddie Pulowski, two of the main antagonists of GTA San Andreas, as well as the Ballas, this rival gang. And take it that Ryder and Big Smoke are both members of Grove Street. They're high-ranking officials, and they're working with this rival gang. And to make matters worse and to top things off, alongside this meeting, kind of in the background, there's a Green Saber. And the Green Saber is the car that was used to murder CJ's mom. And I will say that CJ had his suspicions that Big Smoke was kind of working with Officer Tenpenny, because there were times where CJ mentioned to Big Smoke, hey, I've seen Tenpenny's car at your house. what's going on here? You working with him? And Big Smoke just says, oh, he's just over here bothering me and harassing me like he is to you. So CJ kind of buys into that, but I feel like he did have his suspicions. Spoiler alert, if you've never played through San Andreas, this ends up leading to Big Smoke's death, as well as Ryder, another high-ranking official in the Grove Street families that CJ, Sweet, Big Smoke, they all grew up together. And Ryder is once again caught red-handed in this alleyway along with Big Smoke, but later on down the line, this obviously leads to Ryder's death, but Ryder is intercepted at a meeting with T-Bone Mendez and San Fierro at the pier, where we end up taking him out. Number 5, Catalina from Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas. So she has 2 betrayals in the GTA series. One is minor and one is major. So the minor one takes place in GTA San Andreas. She's actually CJ's girlfriend. We get to know her. She's just this crazy psychopath bank robbing girl. And like I said before, she's our girlfriend. And after Carl's desire for money and trying to free his brother Sweet once he's in this like hospital prison takes over, well, we meet up with her and she tells us that she's found a new boyfriend and she's moving away. And we end up doing a race with her. We win, obviously, because we're awesome. And that's the last we see of Catalina until Grand Theft Auto 3. And in the first 30 seconds of GTA 3, literally, we see Catalina, Claude, and members of the Colombian cartel actually pulling off a bank robbery, and right after this happens, Catalina pulls a gun on Claude. She tells him that he's small time, and then she shoots him and leaves him for dead, making her one of the main antagonists of GTA 3, and ultimately leading to her death. Number 4, GTA Vice City and Lance Vance, the betrayal of Mr. Lance Vance Dance. This is another one of those sad ones because I always thought Lance was a super cool character, and I feel like his betrayal is justified. So after Tommy and Lance overthrow and kill Ricardo Diaz, well, Lance complains a lot of times throughout the game and working with Tommy that he's being treated like a little kid. He doesn't like this. He vents his frustrations with Tommy, and Tommy really does not acknowledge those. He says that he doesn't like Tommy's attitude and his dominance, and Lance really rejects Tommy's authority because Lance helped Tommy do everything. It's not like Tommy was the one in charge. Lance is the one who had a lot of motive and who really did the dirty work. So Tommy goes on to berate Lance. He never gives him credit, Lance feels like. And at the end of the game, in the final mission, when Sonny Forelli arrives, another antagonist of the game, Tommy claims that everything that happened and everything that was done was because of him. He didn't need anybody's help. He is dominating everything. He runs the operation. And that was the last straw for Lance. He had enough. He sold Tommy out to Sonny Forelli by showing him that the money Tommy was giving him was counterfeit and that it was fake. And sadly, that leads to Lance Vance's death, which, like I said before, is one of these sad ones. I feel like Lance's betrayal was justified because Tommy was running over Lance. He wasn't treating him like a friend. He was literally treating him like a slave.
And run away with my tail between my legs!
No, I just wanted to piss you off before I kill you.
Number 3, Dmitri Rascal from GTA 4. So Dmitri is probably, out of every character in the GTA series, the biggest snake. He betrays everybody that he comes into contact with. He's fake. He's two-faced. And in the mission Russian Revolution, Nico actually meets Dmitri privately in a dock warehouse. Dmitri asked for this. He says, don't bring anybody else. But Nico, he's smart. He brings little Jacob, but little Jacob's hiding outside. So Nico walks into this warehouse. The door shuts, and Dmitri reveals here that he is actually allies with a man by the name of Ray Bulgarin, a man who actually employed Nico years ago as a human trafficker across the Adriatic Sea. And this was years before. And what happened was, during this time, a ship that Nico was on that Ray Bulgarin owned actually sunk. Ray lost a lot of money. Nico swam for his life and never came back. So naturally, Ray blames Nico for this. He says Nico set him up, took his money, sunk the ship. And Nico is so confused. He doesn't know what's happening. He says, dude, I was swimming for my life. This ship sunk in the middle of a sea. And then just a shootout ensues, leading to the betrayal of Dmitri, which leads to Nico and Roman's life becoming a living hell for a short time after this. Number 2, the betrayal of Billy Grace. So this is actually the saddest betrayal in my opinion on this list, and what happened was there was a big threat of the feds closing in on the Lost MC in GTA The Lost and the Damned at this point in the storyline. There was also the imminent threat of going to war with the Triads, a rival gang, as well as already kind of being at war with the Angels of Death, another rival biker gang. So there was a lot of things going on. It was very, very hectic. So eventually a deal was made with the leader of the Triads by the Lost MC to sell back this heroin that the Lost stole from the Triads. So they stole heroin from the Triads and then they're selling it back to them. So what happens is Billy Gray leads Johnny and Jim Fitzgerald to the Triad building with the intention of the Triads pretty much killing Johnny and Jim Fitzgerald. And this is in the mission, The Shit's Cursed. And what happens is an ambush happens. Johnny and Jim Fitzgerald are doing this deal. The Triads pull guns on them, take the heroin. Johnny and Jim escape in a shootout, losing the heroin in the process. So at the end of the mission, we see Billy Gray in the middle of the street. He kind of stayed back as a lookout and just a watch guy in case anything happens. But really, he had the intentions of betraying Johnny and Jim Fitzgerald and everybody else. But Billy's getting arrested, possibly tipped off by the Triads, and he's blaming this on Johnny, saying Johnny was a rat. And another member of the Lost MC by the name of Jeremy was there, and he ends up blaming Johnny for it as well, saying Johnny's a rat. And this ultimately leads to the demise of the Lost MC because Johnny didn't betray Billy. Billy was the one betraying Johnny, even though this is never 100% said. We don't see anything as far as dialogue goes, text messages, or anything. So it's a big case of miscommunication that ultimately leads to the ending of a friendship between two guys, as well as the demise of a whole biker gang. Number 1, GTA 5. We can't forget this game. GTA 5 really didn't have too many major betrayals in the storyline at all, but in the mission, the wrap-up, we actually have the betrayal of Steve Haynes. So what happens is Steve calls for a meeting at the court center. Michael shows up to talk to Dave Norton, and Steve Haynes comes out of nowhere trying to pin Michael for all of Steve's illegal and corrupt actions. Even though, the FIB heist just happened. We raided the FIB building. We erased everything on their computers that they had pinning Steve Haynes for these crimes, these illegal actions. We erased them. But Steve is still paranoid. He's just going to blame us for this and take us down and kill us, or we're going to go rot in a prison cell, basically, and Steve Haynes is going to get away scot-free. But that's not what happens, because at this point in the mission, an FIB team shows up, and might I add that Steve Haynes is aided by a man by the name Agent Sanchez, and Agent Sanchez reveals that he tipped them off, and he betrays Steve Haynes right there. Then, the IAA shows up. Everybody's pointing guns at each other, and lastly, to top things off, Merryweather shows up and tells everybody to drop their weapons. So everybody literally betrays everyone in this mission. It's actually a super cool betrayal, and I think it's one of the coolest betrayals in the GTA series.
We all know you agency boys are ball deep in a plot to drive up your funding by any means necessary. Boys, the gun's down, gentlemen. Who the fuck are they? Fucking Merryweather. What are they doing here?
So with that said, that's actually some of the best, worst, most shocking, and crazy betrayals in the Grand Theft Auto series. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If we could break 2,000 likes for this awesome retro GTA content, that would be awesome. Gives me so much more motivation to keep on doing daily video game content. So if you don't want to miss out on a daily video game upload, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, that way you guys never miss out. And with that said, my name is Zach Cox. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you all in the next video.